Time, why you punish me like a wave bashing into the shore? You wash away my dreams. Time, why you walk away like a friend with somewhere to go? You left me crying. Can you teach me about tomorrow and all the pain and sorrow running free? But tomorrow's just another day, and I don't believe in time you wasting, time you walking, time you ain't no friend of mine, time I don't know where I'm going, I think out of my mind, thinking about time. And a life living with irrational fear is just wasted time. Good morning, fellow billionaires. That was my attempt at giving you a little music with Hootie and the Blowfish and a song called Time. All right. So what do we have here? We have here Royal Canadian Mint kilogram silver bar, 3 nines, low serial number. I'll tell you more about that later. And of course, the heavyweight champion of the bars, the king of the bars, well, not the Comex bars, but the king of commercial bars for us, is of course the 100-ounce APMEX bar, or any 100-ounce bar. You know, classic bars, Johnson Matthey. I think Silver Joker has a lot of Englehart 100-ounce bars. But guys, the reason why this sounds a little off today is because I'm in my apartment. It's early in the morning, and I don't know if my neighbors can hear me or not. I'll find out this afternoon when I get some complaints. But today we're going to use the song Hootie and the Blowfish's Time, and we're going to use these bars here to bounce off of our theme today, which is time on our side or not? And you can thank Creo the Lone Traveler for bringing this up to me yesterday. And we're going to go ahead and get started with that. All right, guys, I hope you had a great evening, and I hope you had a little time to digest what happened in the metals markets yesterday and today. So the metals markets today and yesterday are quite dynamic. We're quite dynamic, all right? And there's a lot of milestones passed yesterday. The biggest, of course, being silver closing above $20. Everybody was talking about it. It was all the buzz. But it was actually even more significant than that, and I think a lot of silver market bulls that were all at Twitter about the 4-year closing high missed the fact that silver outperformed every major market index on the planet yesterday. Did you catch that? Silver outperformed I'm talking the FTSE, I'm talking the Nikkei, everything, and overseas and everything. Every single market index yesterday, silver outperformed every index on the planet yesterday at about 3.05%, which is outstanding for silver at these high levels. It looks like we're on track to even top that today. I saw silver right now is tracking, probably about 4% up. Well, 3.5. All right. So, like I said, we got here today. We got the 100-ounce APMEX bar. We've got the low serial number bar from the Royal Canadian Mint, the kilo silver bar. All right. And so let me think about this. So the APMEX bar here. Now I bought this bar, and we're talking about time here. I'm talking about time and how the markets are merciless when it comes to inventory and it comes to pricing when in time. Because if you guys follow Bitcoin back in February of 2018, it shot up to $20,000 in like 3 months from $10,000, I think. And not even that. It was like probably 3 weeks. Anyway, but in the case of silver, which we're stacking, and gold, which we're stacking, we're going to go with silver right now. All right, I bought this APMEX bar back on May the 22nd for $1,866. So I bought this bar 2 months ago for $1,866, $1,866, and today it's retailing for $2,410. That is a 25% increase over 2 months in this one silver bar. This 100-ounce bar. Bought it for $1,866, and now APMEX will probably pay me about $22 for it, but they're selling it for $2,410. That was yesterday, actually. Today it's probably more closer to $25. All right, but that's over the last 2 months. So a 25% increase over the last 2 months. If you do that for the year, that's like 150%. But we'll go into that later. Now, this right here Next up is my low serial number Royal Canadian Mint bar that I got in trade-off with Florida Stacker. So I traded with Florida Stacker for this. In our agreement was, I believe, 32 ounces of coins that he wanted for 32.15 ounces that this bar is right here. So, yeah. So in the end, you can argue who got the better end of that deal. I don't know. But I know he got a roll of Royal Canadian Mint Kraken, excuse me. So in exchange for this bar, he got a roll of Royal Canadian Mint Krakens, which was about 28 ounces. So there's 14 coins in there, 2 ounces apiece. All right. And then he got 4 sovereign coins that I can't remember exactly what they were, but they were 4 sovereign coins, like an eagle and a maple or something like that. And so he got his 32 ounces. I got my 32.15 ounces, right? Okay, now you can argue, like I said, that he probably got the better end of the deal because he got more strikes, but I got more ounces, 0.15% more, 0.15 more ounces. But all I know is that at the time I had a lot of Krakens and no kilo bars, okay? So I don't like having a gap in my stack. So I'm not saying my stack was whack, but I'm just saying my stack had a decent gap in it, and that was a kilogram bar. I only had the one Balcami kilogram bar, and I wanted another one, but I didn't have anything from the Royal Canadian Mint, so it looked like an opportunity. All right? So a quick cost analysis of mine, for me, my out-of-pocket costs, given that the periods that I purchased the coins that I traded him, the loose sovereign coins that I likely purchased in September of 2018, back when spot was around $14, I had those. I told myself that whenever, and by this is backtracking here, I told myself back, whenever silver dropped into the $14 range, I vowed to myself that I would break every rule in the fiscal responsibility book to buy silver. Every rule. Everything I was doing to save and not have any debt, I broke those rules wide open. I got loans, I blew out my credit cards, and I loaded the boat. Back when silver, that was my target. When silver dropped down to $14 spot, in spot prices, and premiums were probably like $1, 50 cents to $1. So I loaded the boat at that time. Now, I'm still paying off some of that debt till this day, actually. Okay, so it's not a complete wash. But now with the Krakens, many of you guys were actually there on March 13th this year when I posted a video entitled Alert, Alert, Silver Spot Price in the $14.50 range. Now, in that video, I ran out to my car and I explained my plan to trade that day 11 ounces of platinum for 560 ounces in a monster box of Krakens with Money Metals Exchange. So that's what I did. Now think about that. At the time, I think platinum was about $777 spot. And if you guys aren't, strongly religious or, powerfully, spiritually, grounded, I wouldn't say grounded, but if you're not, closely connected to the spiritual world, Christians will tell you that the number 777 is very significant in God's eyes. He uses that number a lot in the Bible. But yeah, so $777 for platinum that day. And that day I traded 11 ounces of platinum at $777 for a 560 ounce monster box of Krakens, because you get 280 Krakens, which are 2 ounces apiece in a box, monster box. So that works out to be 560 ounces. All right. So let me get back on track here. So using a method, okay, to execute that extremely tight quick trade that I did with Money Metals Exchange, I was able to secure my Krakens, the monster box of Krakens, for 79 cents above the $14.50 spot price. I paid $15.29 using the trading platinum method at a time when silver got smashed, at a time when they couldn't raise the premiums fast enough. That was the one shot, the one window I had, and I probably had like a day to do it, and I did it that morning. So the video's there. It's dated from March the 13th, and it's entitled "Alert, Alert! Spot Price in the Silver Market at the spot price in the 1450 range," and that was for silver. So if you want to watch that video, it's only like a minute long, but I was like, bah! All right. But anyway, so yeah, I was able to get that 79 cent over spot price for the Krakens because the retailers were hurting for platinum at that time. And that's advanced stacking. That's advanced stacking. That's metals trading. That's doing broker type stuff with depositories. And yeah, it seems a little big time, but it was something I had set up for over the years. So I was able to take advantage of that one event after doing all the other stuff to get ready for it. And I've been paying, the depository to keep stuff for me. So again, it's not a wash. But just to show you how time can work on your side if you act and not stay frozen by apprehension and irrational fear. Now, what these calculations lead to is that by quickly analyzing and timing market prices and conditions, my out-of-pocket costs for this RCM kilo bar is actually $492 with all that finagling I just told you about. So that's what I actually end up paying in the end, $492. And that price will go up as I continue to pay depository fees and stuff. But even if I wash out at $600, consider that if you want this bar right now, a bar like this one, not a low serial number bar, but a bar like this one with a higher serial number, it's going to run you about $800, okay, for a regular Royal Canadian Mint kilo bar. These bars right here with the low serial numbers, they have a particular collectible interest to them, all right? All right, so we consider that. I paid $492 for this bar. I see that now you can get probably over $800 for the low serial number version of this bar, which represents a whopping 80% gain on my investment. And I did that a month ago, 5 weeks ago, with Florida Stacker. But if you count all the time from when I traded the Krakens and all that stuff, then it's 5 months. So in 5 month range. Okay. So let me I tell you all this, right? I tell you guys all this stuff, all this jibber jabber, all right? And a special thanks to Creole the Lone Traveler for bringing this up. He's talking about time. When silver is underperforming, it behaves like insurance. And this is something that Team Stacker brought up. When silver is underperforming, it behaves like insurance. Because at the time when it's underperforming in the 14s and the 15s and the 16s, you'll never receive full value, but you'll have decent protection from a lot of economic tail risk, no matter what. At the very least, that's what silver can do, is protect you from economic tail risk. Now, and this is not under manipulation. So now when silver is performing marginally, okay, like say an average of 2% per quarter, which, would come out to, come out to about 8% a year. Okay, now it's behaving more like a savings because, back in the 80s, you were able to get like 8% on your savings in the bank because the interest rates were so high. But it was still good for savers, all right? Now, if you utilize market timing, meaning you've learned enough about the market psychology, and market psychology, guys, basically says that whatever trends and, market analysis you see out there, you see these guys with the charts and they're drawing lines and they're doing all this stuff. What they're actually charting is human behavior in the markets. So that's what market psychology is, real quick as an aside. All right. So when somebody says market psychology or somebody says trends, they mean human nature, human behavior towards the markets, whether they're panicked, whether they're comfortable, whether they're happy, what have you. That is market psychology. Anyway, so if you learn enough about market psychology to capitalize on the trends, you can experience, I'm talking pharmaceutical stock returns. These returns, on gold and silver, pharmaceuticals, they have this way of shooting up, and it's really performing and stuff, overperforming. But if you're able to analyze these trends in the market, you can experience pharmaceutical stock-like returns in these two examples I give here. Now think about it, all right? Now, if I tell you that we're only about 5% in the silver's next bull run, I mean, look at the prices today. I think silver's jumping about 4%. But even right now, I'm telling you, given the spot price of silver at about $20.75 right now, we're only 5% in this upcoming bull run. 5%. And any silver that you buy today is going to behave more like a hot penny stock. Not a pharmaceutical, not a savings, and not, insurance. Any silver you buy today is going to perform like a hot penny stock over the next 2 to 3 years. All right? You can take that to the bank. I know I'm going to catch hell for saying that. I know a lot of people, a lot of the fundamentalists, a lot of the more responsible, fiscal responsibility stackers out there be like, don't tell people that. You're going to financially ruin them. You're going to hurt them. Now look, I just showed you two examples. These two examples right here. I just showed you these two examples. All right? Where the purchases I made over a 5-month span under the worst, most consistent manipulations and smashes. We're talking 14s, 13s, 15s in the spot price. These are two examples I just showed you. All right? And I still managed under those conditions, buying these bars when I bought them, to eke out an average profit of 52% over 5 months. And this is nothing. This is nothing. Now, sure, I don't expect you to go all full 5150 on your purchasing. Maybe 3150. Well, heck, even 1250. But don't miss the opportunity over the next 4 months. I'm telling you, because you won't even recognize the silver market in 4 months. And yes, I'm expecting a flash smackdown in October, because guys, if you remember in March when we had that smash down to 1172 or whatever it was, the low back in March, it followed up on the heels of them passing stimulus. And what does that mean? When they pass stimulus, they have the money now to buy or create more derivatives to throw into the silver market, to throw into the gold market, to smash the prices down. That's what stimulus does. Stimulus is good for gold and silver, just like it's good for stocks in the beginning because of the news of it. But once the stimulus actually gets there, the COMEX gets their share and they create as much derivatives as they can and they smash that market down. And it's only this time. Every time they do it, though, it lasts a shorter and shorter amount of time. The one we had in March lasted about 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, and now this one here is probably going to last a day when they do this flash smackdown, okay, in October. Now, after that smashdown, guys, I think it is lights out. Not just cheap silver gone forever, and by cheap I mean anything under $35 spot now coming up, okay? Not only is cheap silver gone forever, but available above ground inventories will be gone forever as well. My overall point is that time isn't on our side if we allow fear to cause hesitation when we have the means to purchase. And I'm talking the kind of hesitation that will cause you to miss out on the greatest wealth transfer in human history. The greatest wealth transfer in human history. Yes, I stole that from Mike Maloney. The greatest wealth transfer in human history basically says that all of that derivatives money I showed you at the top of that upside down pyramid, that's completely phony, non-liquid, not real, is going to try to work its way down into the most liquid assets, which is gold and silver, and especially silver, because silver's a lot smaller market than gold. Silver's a lot smaller price point than gold. It has way more room to run. All right? So, you will miss out on the greatest wealth transfer in history if you do not act here in these recent days. If you're able to act. If you're not able to act, do what you need to do to survive first. Get your stuff. All right? Your non-precious metal stuff. Security, food, air, water, staples, all that stuff, okay? All right, so I'm just saying. So now, the time is for action. All that stuff I just mentioned. Not only get all the stuff you need and then get some physical precious metals, but also physically, mentally, and spiritually prepare yourself. Get fit, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And, get your gold and silver, preferably silver, depending on your budget. If you got gold money, get some gold. But I recommend silver. The new silver age is probably going to last about 50 to 100 years, if our race survives, to that point. And just the knowledge, this is how powerful this silver age is going to be. Just the knowledge of you being a silver holder at the time when silver's not available, either part of a bullion bank or hard asset financial network, just that knowledge is going to give you access to things you never had access before. Just 10 ounces to your name, guys. I'm serious. Just 10 ounces to your name. All right? And just people knowing that, hey, this person, they're a silver holder. Not that they're going to come after you, but depending on what circles you're in, they're going to be like, okay, all right, there might be a little bit of respect there. They saw this thing coming and they got in, right? But just 10 ounces to your name is all you need to be 99% ahead of this game. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I'm serious. And do you know why? The 10 ounces that I'm talking about isn't the ultimate store of wealth in your net worth. It is a message. It's a message that says you knew. Somehow, some way you knew. You knew this was coming. Something opened your eyes, or you heard something, or you didn't pass a smell test, but you knew. As a stacker, you knew. The hackles were standing up on the back of your neck. Okay? And despite being ridiculed by people, possibly some people even in your own family, despite that being ridiculed by your own family, despite having to scrape pennies from the bottom of your purse or your car ashtray, despite all that, you made a purchase here or there, a round or an eagle or a maple. You didn't keep track. You just bought something when you could. Then one day, you looked on TV, and there was an emergency meeting of the G20, and the G20 is the 20 most economically powerful countries in the world. The G20 is sitting there talking about the banking system exploding or imploding, right? Taking the dollar with it, and that they're going to have to reset everything. You'll see that on TV, probably on C-SPAN or something. Now, you're going to be reluctant at first because you're going to be like, oh gosh, it's here, it's happening. But then you decide to go ahead and look into your little firebox, the one that has the important documents and the pictures too. You dig around in there and you start pulling out coins, bars and rounds, whatever you bought. Sure enough, there are 10 ounces there, and maybe even some fractional, maybe not. Maybe a gram of gold, maybe not. And you think to yourself, having heard what you just heard on the TV, how in the world is this little bit going to be enough? 10 ounces, how far can this get us? Well, I'll tell you how far. And consider now that you are in this community. This silver community, this stacking community, this silver stacking society, this secret silver stacking society. You're in this community with thousands of eyes watching, zillions of fingers typing, researching, legions of fellow stackers like yourself, bright, strong, loyal individuals, some of the best humanity has to offer. All of us, we're ferreting out the best deals, goods, and opportunities, not just in precious metals, but in everything. Because once we know that we've got success in precious metals, we're going to be looking to reallocate into different assets or reallocate into things that are missing in our lives, places, things we need to replace, medical bills, whatever. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take this newfound wealth and we're going to reallocate it into the things we need most to make ourselves financially solvent. But all these individuals, all these people that are part of this community, collaborating and staying ahead of impending panic and capitalizing on all this stuff, this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be making the most of our precious metal resources. So 10 ounces may not seem like that much if you're a 10 ouncer, which is okay because you're way ahead of the game. But that 10 ounces ties you to a world, a secret stacking society with unlimited potential. Stackers, stacking metal, doing what we're doing, working together, collaborating. We have unlimited potential, not only in this paradigm, but in the next. All right? Oh, and by the way, is 10 ounces enough? Well, I ask you this. When a dollar goes to zero, where do you think the precious metals go? To infinity. That's right. Your 10 ounces of silver may not seem like that much, but when a dollar goes to zero, the price of silver is infinity. Now, we won't see infinity as a price, but you can imagine how far you can go. Now, our time is infinite, okay? But the potential for the right investments, even a very little bit, is not. I hope you get my drift. Get your 10 ounces. Stop mucking around. If you can't get your 10 ounces, get some copper, okay? All right, we're going to start wrapping this up with some market action right now. I didn't mean to come down on you guys if it seemed like that, but I'm telling you that time is not on our side, but time can very well be our ally if we act. And I'm telling you, the time to act is now. Put some dry powder away to take advantage of the smash down that's going to last like a day in October, but start accumulating what you can accumulate now. Okay, so markets right now. Stock futures, like I said, are up probably about 0.75%. In the face of all these earnings reports that are coming out this week. Now, on tap are earnings reports out of Microsoft, Tesla, and Intel, all the blue chip companies, which are normally delivering good numbers. We'll see about that today. Markets are positive, but they could turn negative, all right? Now, meanwhile, across the pond, it looks like the European Union leaders are getting close to a rescue package. That's a group of companies, that's a group of countries called the Frugal Four, talking about the European Union. They're going to go ahead and get this relief package put together. Now, they've agreed to split the costs between a bevy of loans and grants that'll be awarded to stabilize the region. So that's what's happening in the European Union. All right, so right now the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell 2000 small caps are all in the green, like I said, about 0.75% on track for substantial gains at the close on this news. And by the way, it looks like the U.S. is getting their act together, too, because they don't want to be left behind the curve. And so this is definitely beneficial for stocks. So if you have stock portfolio, expect to have some gains today. All right. So gold and silver, metals today, gold and silver are continuing their freight train-like grind. All right. Picking up a little bit of speed and definitely leaving the station. Look at the percentages today. Gold's performing better. Silver's performing better. It's going to be a stellar day. I told you it's going to be an exciting week. Probably too much for some people to handle. Get your Maalox out. Get yourself a cold beer. Sit back and watch because it's going to be quite a show. Now, the big yellow metal today is packed on about 0.75% itself, while its little brother silver is again leading to upward momentum charge, thundering ahead another 4% today. All right, and on track to make another intraday high and possibly a record close. This is silver. The silver that was sleeping all this time is starting to wake up. All right, now, like I said, all of the powers that be seem to be getting their stimulus act together a lot quicker than we thought. So, speaking of stimulus news, by the way, in the U.S. right now, officials and leaders and the do-nothings, by the way, that a group of baboons is called a Congress, right? That's right, here in the U.S. A group of baboons. Anyway, so it looks like the originally proposed $3 trillion stimulus package got downgraded again, now down to $1 trillion. And the conservatives that are here in the United States Congress are trying to pretend all of a sudden they're conservative now, fiscally conservative. Yet they've signed every omnibus bill that's passed through the Beltway over the last 3 administrations. But now all of a sudden they're fiscally responsible. Yeah, right. By the way, did you know they just injected in the commercial banking system $3 trillion this past holiday on the 4th of July? They just added it. No deliberations, no bills, no laws. They just jam that money in there. Now, the banks can hang on for another 3 months maybe. But while they're messing around, you transform your excess fiat capital into durable goods and metals that you need right now. They're evaporating the dollar right before our very eyes. I wonder how it'll go today. You look in the markets, maybe stocks will finish in the green, maybe they'll finish in the red. But I can tell you right now, the dollar is headed down. Okay? So while you were sleeping, I did a little shopping last night while I was on break, and I blew up my credit card again, even though I said I wouldn't do it. All right? But these are extreme times. And I found a sleeper while you were sleeping. I found a sleeper of my own. I bought some more Russian Federation Bank 1-ounce silver St. George coins at JM Bullion. Okay? If you haven't seen these coins, check them out. Now, they're $33 a piece, and they represent, I think, the lowest entry point you can get into in which you can own a stake in the Russian Federation Bank, all right, in that system. And by extension, possibly even have a shot at getting distressed property over in Russia if you have their currency to purchase in. Now, we're going to talk a lot about wealth cycles tomorrow, but just you wait until you see the devastation that destroyed currencies and failed mortgages can have on real estate. It's insane. Versus what you can do with silver at the time when silver is going meteoric. Meteoric means for the heavens, heading heavenward like it's doing today. All right? It's exciting times ahead, guys, exciting times. And just for a quick contrast on the 2018 Russian silver St. George's at JM Bullion, APMEX had those exact same coins for $82. Now remember, $33 at JM. APMEX had them for $82, and we know they're just too damn high anyway. But they sold out at APMEX. They sold out of the St. George coins because I think it's a very small niche market that understands what jewels these things are. They're not very high in mintage, and even the mintage they have, which is like 300,000, Russia only releases a handful, to the other places, and they keep most of them in country. So the mintage is not very high, accessible in the retail market. But APMEX sold out of them at $32, and they still have them at JM Bullion for $33, guys. Now, I know that that's a high-ass price over spot, but remember the range I was telling you about, okay? $25 to $35 at this point. Guys, I'm telling you, this is a steal. These St. George 2018 St. George Russian silver coins from the Russian Federation Bank at JM Bullion for $33, okay? During these times, okay? And in fact, I will go a step further and call these coins, those St. George's, the biggest sleeper out there for premium 1-ounce silver ounce coins. The instant that they're gone from JM Bullion and out of stock, the price is going to likely double overnight. And I've seen that happen a dozen times now. So no new data while you were sleeping, but a sleeper coin instead, the 2018, all right, 1-ounce Russian silver St. George coin at JM Bullion for $33. Get some today if you can, and I'm telling you, as soon as this inventory runs out, you watch what happens. All right, guys. Well, that is it for the day. This is your Enhanced Morning Update. I hope that you have a great day. Get out there, get all the stuff you need, get all the things you need before our fearless leaders take us further down a path that'll be difficult at best. All right? Difficult at best. There are going to be difficult times coming ahead, but we're going to be in better shape than most people. Now, I'm Silver 5150 telling you that your stack is not whack. All right? Your stack is not whack, and that just 10 ounces to your name. The same 10 ounces that will go to infinity when the dollar goes to zero, that same 10 ounces, it keeps you 99% ahead of the game. All right? 10 ounces. So, get out there. But before you do, like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll either catch you guys in a random post throughout the day, depending on how crazy the market gets, or at the morning update tomorrow. Later, taters.